Hi guys, in this video I want to show how you can recreate genesiscustomizations.com. As you probably know, this is a website that I've launched yesterday. Uh, I'm currently using Genesis sample child theme. So I'm gonna just start from scratch, right from installing WordPress. If you already have WordPress installed on a test site, you could use that to practice what I show in this video. I personally use a software called Desktop Server, which is there for both PC and Mac. So once you start this program and start Apache and MySQL, PHP, all this stuff, you click on create a new development website and you just give the name. So I'm gonna call this Genesis Customizations, but just for simplicity's sake, I'll just call this GC. I'm gonna click create. Next, click on this. I'm going to enter my title and username. Well, in real life scenario, using admin is not a good practice. So you might want to use something better, something more obscure. Again, since this is an installation of WordPress on my local host, I'm just using a weak password which I use on all the websites, on the test websites on my local host. You might want to use a secure password. Okay. So the first thing that we do after installing WordPress is go to settings, permalinks, and ensure that the permalinks are uh, SEO friendly. So we're going to select post name and click save changes. Okay. Now the website that I have just created on my local host, that is on my computer, is in this gc.dev folder. So I'm going to install Genesis. So I'll go inside WP content, go inside themes, and I'm going to copy Genesis and Genesis sample into the themes directory, and then I would go to appearance and I can activate this. Now if you wish, you can rename this folder and also edit the style.css to rename the name of the theme and all that other information at the top, but I'm going to leave it like this for now. So I'm clicking on activate to activate the site. Okay. Now let me just go to my text editor, which is Sublime Text 2. So I have opened the folder of the website gc.dev in Sublime Text. So I'm going to go to themes, go to Genesis sample, and double click on functions.php, and also double click on style.css. So these two are the files that we're going to make changes in most of the time. Okay, so since I do not want the tagline to appear, I would need to add code in functions.php to get rid of the tagline. Um, I store all the code snippets in a public shared HTML file. So if you go to tinyurl.com/genesis snippets, so this is a HTML file which is currently hosted on my computer in my Dropbox. So whenever I make changes to this, it automatically gets updated. Alright, so the requirement is to get rid of this tagline. So I'm going to do a search for tagline and click on this one, remove site description. So I'm going to copy that code and put that in functions.php, save it. Okay, come back and reload. Alright, that's gone. And since the website that we are talking about, genesiscustomizations.com, is does not have the sidebar, so I'm gonna go to Genesis theme settings and select that. Now when I save the settings, come here and reload. Okay, so let me go ahead and create a page called home and put in the content. So I'm going to just quickly grab the content from my existing site. Publish it. Okay. Now, since I want the this particular home page to appear on the front page, I will go to Settings, Reading, and select a static page to appear on the front page. And I'm going to select Home. Save the changes. Okay, I'll go to Pages and get rid of the sample page since I don't need it for now. So when I reload my home page, now I should see that static page called home. Okay. All right. So what we'll do next is to create a, let's do one thing. First, I'm going to open this up in Firefox. And let's examine the HTML structure. So we have the header, and below that I have the site inner. What I would like to do is to add a custom div uh, below this header, and in that particular div we're going to have the content, which is the main headline, and also this particular subheading and the call to action button. So I'd like to put all this information in a particular div below the header, and then combine the header and that particular div into, put them in a single container, so we can set this image as a background for that container. All right, so let's go to functions PHP, and I'm going to do a search for register widget area. click on that and copy the code. Okay, so I'm going to register something called home featured widget area. I'm going to give the ID as home featured, name. This is the name which appears uh, when you go to appearance widgets as the title of the widget area. So this widget area appears on home page and has the main content. Let's just call this featured content. Okay, so I've saved that. Now when I go to appearance and widgets, I see my new widget area, home featured. That text is coming from the name, and this particular text is what I have entered here. Okay, so in this I'm gonna add a text widget, and I will put in my main headline. So this would be fast and affordable Genesis WordPress theme customizations, and I'm gonna also put h4 class is equal to subheading. Now h4, h3, this can be a div, this can be a paragraph, it's up to you. So let's go here. Get started. Okay. So below the subheading, we would like to have a button. So I'm creating a hyperlink having a class of button with the text get started. So let's save this. All right. So now we have populated the widget area, home featured widget area with a widget. And the next thing is to display this particular widget area below the header. So I'm gonna say add action. Add action function takes two parameters. The first is the location or the hook. So I want to add a Genesis after header, and I want to display my home featured. So this what I just typed is the name of the custom function. This can be anything. A good practice is to prefix the function name with either the theme name or your name or the client name, and then don't put hyphens but use underscores. Okay, so add action, that means after header you execute this function. So in this function, if I write, for example, echo hello, come back and reload, you can see hello appears here. So we need to display the contents of the custom widget area that we have created earlier. So for that, I would go back to my Genesis code snippets and do a search for display widget area. So it should be here, display widget area. So I'm gonna copy that code and put it over there. So the idea of the widget area that I want to display is home featured. So I've specified the ID, I've specified the same as one of the two classes uh, that would be for the div that encloses the contents of the custom widget area. Okay, so I come back here, I reload, and as you can see we have the headline H2, this is the H4 subheading, and this is the button. So if we observe the HTML, we can see it's a div having a class of home featured and widget area. That's because we have given like that here, and inside that there is this wrap. You see div class is equal to wrap. So because we have placed the contents of the widget area inside this wrap, the width is limited to whatever is the width defined in CSS. So currently in this version of the Genesis sample, the maximum width is 1200 pixels for the wrap. So inside that, this is the HTML for the widget, the text widget. So here we can see the content that we have placed inside the widget, the HTML in the widget. Okay, so now I need to combine this header and this particular div having a class of home featured into one single container so that I can apply a background, a full big image as a background to this particular thing. So how do you do that? Again, using actions. So I go back here. Okay, so I want to add an opening div above the header. So I'll say Genesis before header. So before the header, I would like to add an opening div. So I'll say add opening div. Let me just put my initials as a prefix for the function. So function, paste that. Inside this, I'll say echo div class is equal to hero. All right. So when I save this, it's gonna put this particular HTML, the opening div with a class of hero, above this header element. Now I need to add an corresponding closing div after this home feature. So I could simply, go back here and add one more closing div like that. Okay, so when I save this, come here and reload, you can see now in the HTML structure that we have a single div having class of hero. Inside that is the header, and inside that is the home feature. Okay, now as you can see, there's this white background for the header, which is coming from site header background FFF. So let's go back to style CSS, and okay, now coming to changes in style.css, some people prefer to do it in line. So for example, this is in line 865, so some people go to 865 and make changes, and some like me add it at the end. In my opinion, as long as the custom CSS that you're adding is not too much, it's okay to add at the end. That's not too much, that's not a great performance or like slowing things down is not an issue. So for the site header, I want the background to be transparent. So come here, reload, and that's gone. Okay, now for the image, I usually get from PicJumbo website. Let's go to technology. All right. So here is an image which looks kind of matching with the overall theme. Genesis customizations or tweaks. You need some tools, not real tools, but this is a good image. So I'm gonna click on download. So usually the stock images that we download from websites like these are pretty huge. Uh, for the purpose of web, it's alright if we have the image somewhere in the range of 1400 pixels to 1600 pixels wide. So I'm gonna edit this image in Photoshop and resize it so that it is 1600 pixels wide. Okay, so when I press Command Alt I, you can see the width is 3888. I'm going to make it 1600 and let the height be resized proportionally. Let the image resize proportionally. Okay, now I'm going to save this for web. And I'll select JPG 60 as the quality. So this would be my hero background. So I'm going to move that into uh, images folder. Okay, now in the HTML we see we have created this div having a class of hero. So I'll select that and I'll go to my style.css, put that in and set the background to URL images I do not want that image to repeat, so I'll set no repeat. And I want that to be centered, so center top. Okay, let's save that, come back here and reload. Okay, now if I press Command Alt M, it's going to trigger the responsive tool that is built inside Firefox. You can also go to Tools, Web Developer, and click on Responsive Design View. So I'm just going to select a really wide size like 1920, and as you can see, it is not expanding uh, full width. So we can add CSS for that, and the CSS for that is cover. So I could copy that CSS code, background says cover, and put that for the hero element. Come back here, reload, and now the image will stretch to the full width, and whatever is the width of the screen will automatically adjust accordingly. Okay, so let's change the color of this text to white. So I'm going to bring up Firebug by pressing F12 and click on the inspect element button. go click on the title, and if we see the anchor element, it has the color set to 333. So I'm just gonna copy the selector, go back to style.css and set the color to white. Come back here, reload. Alright, so that's white. Now I need to center everything that is inside home featured. So I'm gonna select the home featured class and say text align center, save, come here, reload, that is centered, and I want that text to be white, so I will say color white, reload, and did it change anything? So let me just comment it out, save it, come back, reload, nope. Okay, so let's see what's happening. Okay, so the H2 color is defined in CSS, so we're going to be more specific. So I'll copy that home featured, and within that I want H2 to be the element of interest, and for this I would set color as white, save it, reload. Okay, now that is white. So let's increase the font size of that to something like let's say 60 pixels. Okay, so let's go to the subheading. So I'm gonna say any H4 that has a class of subheading. I want the color to be white, and I want the font size to be, let's say, 30 pixels. Just increase these sizes so that they'll be more prominent. Okay, now we're getting close. As you can see, the white text behind the image is not really that readable. So we got to darken the image, the background image. So I'll go back to Photoshop. I'll click on the add new layer button, and I'm going to set this opacity to 50, and I'm going to take the paint bucket tool and click once. So now this layer 1 has the black color at 50% opacity. So we essentially have darkened the image. So I'll save it for web. Has it changed? Yep. I just had to reload it one more time. So now the text is more prominent, more visible. Let me just increase the size of the subheading because it doesn't look 50 pixels. Is it 50 pixels? Let's make it 70 and see how it looks. Oh, it's not changing at all. Let's inspect it. So H4, font size 20 pixels. Font size. Ooh, that's too big. Let's make it 30. I guess that's all right. Yeah, okay. Now let's increase the space above and below this button. So as you can see, that's the A having a class of button, which is inside the home featured section. So I'm going to grab that home featured class. Inside that we have an A having a class of button. So I'll give the top margin as say 40 pixels and the bottom margin as 40 pixels. Reload. Okay, that's better, but could be, let's just increase this to 16. Okay. Let's change this gray background for the button to a light green, that green. So I got that green from Namecheap when I was registering the domain, genesiscustomizations.com. So yeah, so I grabbed it from there. So I'm gonna bring up Firebug by pressing F12. Click on the inspect and start inspecting that, and you can see the hexadecimal colors over here. So we have a light, we have a dark. So let's just pick the dark color for now. So for this button, I want the background to be that dark green. Well, it's not really dark, but it's the darker of the two. So come here and reload. Okay, that looks good, but it's too small, so let's make it big. I'm gonna set the font size to, I don't know, let's just try 20 and see how it looks. Not that great, so it could be 30. Okay, I think that's fine. Now if I wanted, I can add some rounded corners to that by doing border radius of say 5 pixels, like that. Okay, so let's add the hover background color for the button. So I'm gonna copy that and add hover. So let's just use the light green for now. So I'm gonna click on that, copy the color code, paste it here, save it, go back, reload. Okay, so when I do the hover, I would like the text to change color to black. Well, if not black, something close like 333, kind of dark gray. So let's reload. Okay, that's fine. Let's just make the button wider. So I'm gonna bring up Firebug and see what's the current padding. So the padding is currently 1624. So I'm gonna copy that, paste that. So the first value is the padding at the top and bottom. 24 is the padding at the left and right. I'll just make it 34 and make this say 20 to make it big. Reload. Okay, we can have more wider. So let's make this 40 and see. Okay, so that's good for now. Okay, let's increase the space between the heading and the subheading. So I'm gonna bring up Firebug, go to H4. So for H4 subheading, we can add a margin at the top of say 30 pixels. Reload. Okay,